Hello and welcome back to Game Brigade. I am your host Brian Greer, and on this show we do reviews, previews, playthroughs, and have conversations about our favorite board games. So if you're new here, please consider subscribing. Today on the show, I want to cover 5 games on my shelf of shame that I have yet to play. Some of these games I have had for several years, and I wanted to make a pact or a resolution, I guess you would say, to play some of these games. So we're going to go through 5 that I have been looking at for a while, and it could be 6 months, it could have been 3 years that I've had some of these games. But I want to make a resolution to you guys that I will play these games in 2021, and you know what, maybe I'll review them. Maybe that will be my challenge to myself. Put a review for each one of these games. That way you guys know that I upheld my goal. Before we get to the games, we do have a little bit of back upkeeping to do. I didn't want to do a full channel update because I don't think those are always necessary, but I did want to do a minor update for you. First off, we have set up our first Patreon for Game Brigade. If you don't know what Patreon is, it's a website where people can sign up to support creators who they feel they want to help out in many ways. So I have set one up. We have several different tiers for you to check out. The link is down below. Check out the tiers, see if any of them fit something you are be interested in. Some of them are interesting in the point where you can help influence the direction of this channel. So please take a look at that Patreon, and I appreciate any support that people want to provide. So without further ado, let's get to number 1. Okay, the first game I have on my list is Dead of Winter. This is a Crossroads game, and this is, I believe, a 2 to 5 player. Yeah, 2 to 5 player, takes 60 to 120 minutes, and this was one that I got for free, actually, from my local game store. Not for free in the sense that they just gave it to me. They had a special going on where if you bought 4 board games, your 5th was free, and so I had to basically add a bunch of games, 5 games, to my shelf of shame that day when I decided to go to the game store. So Dead of Winter was the one that I selected for my freebie, but it was one that I've been actually eyeballing for a while. In fact, I'll eventually do like a Q&A and kind of talk about my history of board gaming, but this was one that I've been looking at, I think, since its launch. Dead of Winter is a meta-cooperative game where players are going to be working together jointly to survive for the colony, but every player also has a unique individual goal that they're trying to complete that they could do to win the game as well. And so as players make heavy thematic decisions for the colony, they're going to have to decide what is best for them and what is best for the colony. There's also, I believe, a twist in here where there could be a hidden traitor element where someone is actively working against the community, and the players have to obviously deal with the threats of the winter, the threats of the zombies, and at that point the threat of a hidden traitor. So this one was very interesting to me. As you guys know, I'm very big on thematics. I'm very big into theme, and there was a time where I was a massive zombie fan. So this is one that's only, I'm not like I hate zombies now. I just, it was overplayed, but I still love the theme. I still love post-apocalyptic stuff. I'm definitely all in on that stuff. So Dead of Winter, I would say, is one that I'm hoping to get going relatively soon here. I'm hoping the next few months that we can get this to the table. Who knows when. Okay, so Brass Birmingham is one that is actually relatively new to my collection. I got this from the Board Game Geek Secret Santa. This is what my Santa sent me. It was obviously a game that I've been wanting because the way Board Game Geek's Secret Santa works is you have your wish list, and then they find something on your wish list and send it to you. So this was on my wish list. This is one that I was interested in. Kind of different because this is completely opposite of the last game we talked about. This is more of an economic strategy game, so a lot drier, but I hear the gameplay mechanics are top-notch. So this is one where you're going to be taking on the role of an entrepreneur in the Industrial Revolution in Birmingham, England. This is a 2 to 4 player game. It takes about an hour to an hour and maybe like 120 minutes actually. It's about 2 hours for this to complete. This is one that I'm really looking forward to when I'm wanting to play a more heavy Euro game or economic based game. This is one I'm looking for, but I don't generally go towards Euros. They're usually like the second type of game that I would want to play. But that's the number 4, Brass Birmingham. Okay, coming in at number 3, we have Champions of Midgard. And this one is one that I would say has probably been in my collection the longest, and that's, well, that's not true. There might be one more here somewhere, but I'm never going to play that game. In fact, I'm going to be selling it here once I can. We'll save that one for another video when I decide to do what's leaving my collection. But Champions of Midgard is probably one of the best games that I have that I've yet to play. And I think we got this the year it came out, which I think might have been 2017. It was one of the first board games I got when I started really thinking about collecting board games. I was playing at the time, we were playing a lot of Arkham Horror, and we went to the game store and we were like, what else is there? We didn't really have a taste, we didn't really know what we were wanting. We were recommended this by the store clerk, picked up immediately, and then it's been sitting on my shelf ever since. So Champions of Midgard, the players will take on the role of Vikings, and it's a worker placement game, kind of a midweight game, where, and I don't, it's been a long time since I looked at this, but if I remember right, the players are kind of taking actions, and then we're going to be taking a voyage across the oceans or across the water to fight mythological Viking-esque creatures. I want to learn this game. It's one that I actually haven't even looked at the rule book. It's one that I definitely need to play, and I hear a lot of my friends tell me that I need to get on it. It's like one of those things like Paladins of the West Kingdom, another game I've never played. It's like I keep being told, these are games you have to play, especially if you're going to be hosting a board game YouTube channel. Like, you have to play the classics. So what do you guys think? Is this a game that you would play, or let me know. I'd love to hear about it. Champions of Midgard, that is coming in at number 3. Okay, The Search for Planet X. Coming in at number 2, this is a solo playable game, but up to 4 players, between an hour and 15 minutes. So this is a deduction game where players are going to be looking for a mythological planet that is said to be out there, and you're going to be using reasoning and deduction to eventually narrow it down to believe if you have found the planet. This is one that actually was purchased the same day Dead of Winter was purchased. One of the games I picked up on that board game day of 5 when I picked up. And this was because this was heavily recommended by the store owner. He told me that he has had people in their friend group who bought it, they loved it, and eventually one of them moved, and they loved it so much they had to buy a second copy because they forgot their copy at their friend's house. I was like, well, that sounds, if someone's going to willing to buy the game twice within the same year, it must be a good enough game. I mean, who knows? So Planet X is one that I'm hoping to actually play relatively soon. Deduction games, I don't have many of them, and that's one of the other reasons why I picked it up, because I like thinking out puzzles and different ways to strategize. So this is one that was kind of a niche feel to my collection, and it also was, I believe, the Kickstarter edition that they had in the store, so I was happy to pick that up. So The Search for Planet X. The final game that we have here is PAX Premier 2nd Edition. Now this is one I actually did an unboxing for the channel. This was a Kickstarter that I backed that I was very excited to come with. And it's been on my wall here of like games that I'm really excited for. In fact, Search for Planet X has been over here as well. So games that I'm like really excited for, that I'm really wanting to get to the table quickly, I kind of put on my Premiere wall here so people, like when people come over, they can see them. So PAX Premier has been there. But I won't lie, I'm a little intimidated to learn the rules. This is a game where players are going to be taking on the role of Afghan leaders, and we're going to be trying to negotiate between Russia, I believe the UK is in there as well, and themselves and their own tribal leaders, and it's just a little intimidating. I don't know why. It is the highest rated game that I have in my shelf of shame in terms of Board Game Geek ratings, and its weight complexity is like a 3.5. So in terms of like trying to learn a new game, when I'm trying to learn current games that I have and learn games for review, sometimes I just get intimidated from like, oh man, do I want to dive into another heavier, complex game? And will I even be able to play it by digging into it? So this is one that I definitely want to get to the table, and I hear it's a classic, and that's one of the reasons why I picked it up during the Kickstarter, and I mentioned that in the unboxing. This is one that I was referred to me by a friend that I play games with, and he said you have to get PAX Premier because there's most likely an opportunity it won't get reprinted again. So I thought, why not get a collector piece like that and enjoy it. But this is definitely the one I would say is the biggest one on my list, and I want to get to the table as soon as possible. PAX Premier 2nd Edition. Well, there are my 5 games that I want to play from my shelf of shame that I am making a pact with you guys, my subscribers here on YouTube, that I will, oh, that almost scared me. This brass Birmingham box does not stay together. I don't think I have it very well organized. But these are games that I'm making a promise to you guys that I will make a review in 2021 for these games. We're obviously going to have more reviews coming along, but to try to work through that shelf of shame, because I've got a lot of Kickstarters on the way. I got to make sure that everything on my wall has been played at least once, so that way I can justify this habit of mine. Anyways, we'll be wrapping this up. If you are still here for the giveaway, we do have that giveaway still going on, and there's still time to enter. If you want to get into the, what is it again? The Oath Swarm. You know what? This would be a section I'd cut out for editing. We'll leave it in because you guys can see kind of how it is. So we have the $99 Oath Sworn giveaway still going on, still time to enter. To be entered in that, you must be a public subscriber to the Gamergate channel. Make sure you check your settings and show that you are publicly subscribing. And then you must like the video and comment down below with hashtag Shelf of Shame. If you don't feel comfortable doing Shelf of Shame, you can do Shelf of Opportunity. I'll search for both of them when we do the final rolling. I know that term can be uneasy, so do either one, but I need to know what is a game on your shelf that you are looking to play. Talk to you guys soon, and thank you for supporting the channel. Make sure you smash that like button.